The Tennessee Titans may have traded for Jermaine Johnson, but that should not affect what position they go after at the top of the NFL draft. I'll explain on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for a chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. On today's show, I'm going to tell you why the trade for Jermaine Johnson should not change the Tennessee Titans draft plans. And I'm talking about what position they go after with the number 4 pick. Now, before I dive in, I do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there tuning in Monday through Friday. Couldn't do it without you guys. If you aren't an everydayer, what are you doing? The roster moves have begun. Free agency preview is starting next week. The draft right around the corner. You want to stay as up to date, as entertained, and as informed as a Tennessee Titans fan could possibly be. Make sure that you stay locked in with the number 1 Tennessee Titans podcast in the world, Locked On Titans. But with that being said, again, trading for Jermaine Johnson should not have a major impact on what the Tennessee Titans do at the top of the draft with the number 4 pick in the first round. I have gotten waves of questions on every social media site, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, of people asking Tyler, does this mean the Titans should go after Jeremiyah Love now? Does this mean that the Titans are going to draft a wide receiver? Does this mean that the Titans will get Rueben Bain instead of David Bailey and all these different things? And look, I think that this could potentially impact the style of edge rusher that the Titans go after in free agency or in the draft, but I'm not even 100% positive about that. You know, at the end of the day, we need to understand 2 different things. Number 1, the ceiling of a guy like Jermaine Johnson and what his role actually is, and then 2, the vision of the Tennessee Titans in building this team going forward. Let's talk about the Titans' vision here. Guys, Jermaine Johnson is on a 1-year contract. If Jermaine Johnson doesn't work out for the Titans this year, he stays injured, he can't get back to that 2023 level of play, he, just isn't the same player because of the Achilles tear in 2024. If that's the case, imagine if the Titans said, we think that David Bailey is the best player for us at number 4 and he's available. We think Rueben Bain is the best player for us at number 4 and he's available. But we're not going to pick him because of Jermaine Johnson. And then Jermaine Johnson is gone after the season. And then you picked a player who's worse. Do you see what I mean there? It lacks foresight. It lacks vision, and no general manager should build their team like that. I have been saying that the Titans should not be affected by free agency in terms of what they do at all. And Mike Borgonzi talked about that. I asked him directly about that thought process. Like, if you get a slot wide receiver in free agency, will you be more likely to go after a boundary wide receiver in the draft? And he's like, we do weigh those things on the board, but it's more about, hey, there aren't a lot of good slot wide receivers in the draft, so maybe we get one in free agency because we know there aren't a lot of good ones. I was asking, how does free agency impact the draft? But Borgonzi made it sound like, no, it's actually the draft that impacts free agency more. And that makes sense because the draft is about finding long-term pieces for your football team, for your program. When you draft somebody, you expect to have them for their entire rookie contract, which is 4 to 5 years, depending on the round. And then hopefully you give them a second contract, which I know as Tennessee Titans fans, we're not used to because nobody gets a second contract from the Titans over the last 5 years. Thanks J-Rob and Rand Carthon for that. But the idea of the draft is you are finding foundational pieces that you want to be on your team for 5 to 8 years. Free agency is 2 to 3 year band-aids because the nature of free agency is you are signing people who are already off of their rookie deal. And the average career length in the NFL is 3 years. So if a guy has gone through his rookie contract 4 or 5 years, and now you're signing him to a 2 or 3 year deal, by the time that he's done with that, he's 31, 32, 33, and then you're out of the NFL at that point. You're not a good player anymore in most cases. So just logically speaking, you would never be like, well, we signed this guy in free agency. We traded for this guy who was about to be a free agent, so we shouldn't pick this guy in the draft because he's like that guy. It doesn't make sense. You're putting the cart before the horse in that scenario. The draft should always take precedent, and you should always be looking at the people in the draft as long-term solutions, where guys in free agency or guys that are at the end of their rookie deal or off their rookie deal that you're trading for are not necessarily long-term pieces. So no, I do not think that trading for Jermaine Johnson means that the Titans shouldn't draft David Bailey, Rueben Bain, Arvell Reese, or it makes them more likely to draft Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, Jeremiyah Love, Sonny Styles. It should not affect that at all. And again, that's part one of the reason, but part two of the reason is Jermaine Johnson as a player. Do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Have you ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you a chance to turn that dream into a reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking, which team can make a deep run? Now is the perfect time to lock it in, because not only can your pick cash, but it can also send you to the NBA Finals. And if you know ball, then you know coming out of the break here, we're about to enter the best part of the NBA season. So make sure that you visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for a chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's episode is also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. For me, I'm going to keep it consistent. At the top of my board is the grape flavor. You get that Concord grape flavor that's similar to like a grape juice or grape candy. It's got a nice soft and rounded sweetness, smooth, almost syrup-like in the fruit profile. It's consistent, it's straightforward, it's got that classic purple candy style finish. Big, bold flavor. Absolutely love the grape, but as I tell you, if I had to pick a sleeper, I'm going with the peach mango. You get that peach flavor right on the first sip, then the mango adds the tropical depth and sweetness. It's a smooth, rounded fruit profile that has a slightly richer mouthfeel than the other citrus flavors, which I absolutely love. It's got a sweet, aromatic finish, a nice balanced tropical blend. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots. They're available online at 5hourenergy.com. That's the number 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Titans fans, let's cap off today's bonus edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Again, trading for Jermaine Johnson should not change the Titans' pick at number 4 in the NFL draft. Now, here's what I will say. If it's going to change maybe a mid-round selection because they have more depth at edge, I would understand that. But again, it should not change the plan. The number one reason is because the draft should be looked at differently than free agency or veteran trades. But the second reason is Jermaine Johnson is a player. I talked about this on yesterday's full-length Locked On Titans that came out on Thursday night. I put out a little short about it as well. Jermaine Johnson is a good player, but Jermaine Johnson isn't an alpha edge rusher. He's not Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt, guys like that. Like, he's not Will Anderson Jr. or something. You know, I think he's a good rotational edge. See, I thought that T'Vondre Sweat was a good rotational defensive lineman. He's not Jeffrey Simmons, though. Do you see what I mean? So, to me, it's like, yeah, Jermaine Johnson is a good player and could be a nice rotational edge as one of the 4 rotational edge rushers for the Titans, which they desperately needed depth there. And edge is more important than interior defensive line, so having more depth at edge and less depth at interior defensive line is not a big problem to me. Plus, Jermaine Johnson already recruiting for the Titans, tweeting out eye emojis with John Franklin Myers. John Franklin Myers is coming to the Titans, baby. Whether it's Sebastian Joseph Day, JFM himself commenting under Tanzel Smart's Instagram post about being a new Titans coach, Jermaine Johnson tweeting eye emojis on a John Franklin Myers tweet to the Titans. Like, JFM's coming to the Titans, and if he doesn't, I'm going to be shocked. Like, literally shocked if the Titans don't bring JFM back into Robert Saleh's defense. But again, the point being, Jermaine Johnson is a rotational edge rusher. Get out of your mind that he's a first-round pick. Just like Jets fans should get out of their mind that T'Vondre Sweat was a second-round pick. He's not worth a second-round pick right now. Jermaine Johnson's not worth a first-round pick right now. That's a sunk cost fallacy of, yeah, that's what they were. Well, they aren't that now. So it's not like the Titans just added a first-round edge rusher who can be their alpha edge rusher, and now they're good to go, and they don't need to draft that because they have their long-term answer at edge. That's just not what this is. This is a rotational depth piece at edge. The Titans are going to have Femi. They're going to have Jermaine. They're going to have, hopefully, someone in the draft and another player in free agency. Like, he's part of the rotation. So it's not just that the draft is where you find long-term pieces. It's also that Jermaine Johnson hasn't proven that he is a long-term piece that should affect the way you look at the NFL draft. So the answer is twofold. No, it should not change how they approach the number 4 pick in the draft. Now, I will say this. What should change, or what could change? The Titans could look for a different style of edge rusher. I think that Jermaine Johnson and David Bailey have similar qualities. When Jermaine Johnson was at his best, he had great get-off the line of scrimmage. He is a linear athlete that doesn't have great flex and bend. He had a good straight arm. He had good speed to power. That's a David Bailey type. David Bailey does not have good flex and good bend. Did you see him do the agility drills at the combine? Slipping and falling the whole time? He doesn't have good ankle flexion. He doesn't have good lower body flexibility. He does not have good bend. He is a get off the line of scrimmage like a demon, get my long arms and my hands into your chest with speed to power and drive you back. And coincidentally, David Bailey, speed to power, long arm stab, inside spin. What is Jermaine Johnson's best 3 moves? Speed to power, long arm stab, inside spin. 6'5", 250 to 260 pounds. Doesn't have great bend and flexibility in the lower half. They're similar. So the only thing that I could see changing is the Titans say, hey, we got Jermaine Johnson. His skill set is somewhat similar to David Bailey. Maybe that opens them up to take Rueben Bain. But positionally, no, it's not, oh, we have Jermaine Johnson now. We don't need an edge. We can go with something. No, that's not how I would view it. Now, the other thing that I would say is picking later in the draft. Now that you have Jermaine Johnson, maybe the Titans don't need to draft 2 edge rushers. It's a very good edge class, not only at the top, but also through the mid-rounds. And I could see the Titans drafting 2 edge rushers before this trade. But now, If they go out and get John Franklin Myers and they bring Sebastian Joseph Day back, they can rush on the interior or play a little bit out on early downs. You get a guy like Jermaine Johnson. Maybe you go out and sign a guy like Boye Mafe. Then you could draft a Rueben Bain. Now that would be good enough depth at edge with Femi, Jalen Harrell as your fifth edge. Now you're good. You'd have Bain, Jermaine, Mafe, Femi, JFM could play a little out there. SJD could play a little out there. Jeff could play on the edge if they wanted him to. Now, that would be dumb full time because he gets great advantageous matchups on the interior. But again, it's a possibility at least, which you would be covered on the edge at that point. There's no need, instead of taking 2 edge rushers in the draft, now you could take an edge early like you wanted to anyway, and where you would have taken an edge rusher in the 4th or the 5th round, now maybe you take a development interior defensive line. That's the change that I could see coming from this trade. It's more about depth at the position than it is, how we try to get a starter in the draft. So that's the change that I could see. But again, it's about the draft being a long-term solution, free agency being a short-term solution, and then it's about Jermaine Johnson not being somebody who you could be certain of is a absolutely confirmed long-term starter. So those 2 reasons together, no, this should not affect what the Titans do at the top of the draft. But with that being said, what an incredible week. I just want to take a moment and I just want to say how grateful I am to all of you guys, how thankful I am that I get to do this for a living. I truly am living my dream. And the people who have been around for a while know, I had it rough growing up. I mean, everybody has their own story, but, things were not easy for me throughout middle school, high school. Lost our house when I was 16. I was surfing on couches to try to make it, go to college. I have to drop out of college because I don't have the money. I went to the 3rd best journalism school in the country. I was one of the top journalism students in the whole entire school. I had the best internship on campus, and then I'm out of money and I got to come home. You know what I mean? And then we all go through our troubles and tribulations throughout our 20s with, relationships and bills and money. And for me, growing from a boy to a man, and I thought that I was never going to get to do anything like this. I thought I was going to be working 9 to 5 regular jobs and customer service and account management and sales and then I got fired. My mother likes to tell me I got let go. It wasn't my fault. It was company layoffs or whatever, but I got fired, And I sent an email to Locked On the next day in my underwear on a hand-me-down mattress, renting a spare room for my little brother. And 7 years later, I'm at the Combine having interactions with the president of the Titans and asking questions to Robert Saleh and Mike Borgonzi and meeting Rueben Bain and Arvell Reese and doing this, and numbers are blowing up and the pod and the accounts and my life completely changed, and I owe it to you guys. And weeks like this, where I do things like the Combine, when I'm driving in my car and I'm on my way to the Combine, I'm thinking man, do I deserve this? How is this? You get imposter syndrome to a point. But the reaction that I get from you guys, all the kind things that people said to me this week, the compliments, people at the Combine who recognized me and told me how good of work I do. And it truly is something that fills my soul. It fills my heart. I'm so grateful after this week. It's just one of these moments throughout my year where I'm like, man, I was meant to do this. This is what I was born to do. And I hope that you guys out there who may be struggling or may feel lost or may feel like you're never going to live your dream or you're never going to get your shot or things just aren't going your way and they never will. And just keep fighting, man. Just work and work and work. And it's going to break for you because it broke for me. And I'm just you. I'm just a Titans fan who was arguing with people on Facebook all day and being on Twitter and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm an undrafted free agent who went pro. That's it, and I'm never going to lose sight of that. And I just want to, You guys, I go to the Titans YouTube channel and half of the comments in the YouTube are hyping up me, it's just stuff like that if I told myself when I was 10 years old that this is my life and this is what I do and, I have this following that I have in this community that we've built together, I would have had to pinch myself. It's just hard to believe. So I just want to thank you all so much. Always remember, I'm you. I'm you, and I'm doing this for us. And you deserve a voice. You deserve a seat at the table. You deserve to ask questions. And that's why I get your feedback. That's why I try to answer every comment I get. And the good, the bad, you can call me a bozo. I try to comment back because I am you. And I'm never going to lose sight of that. And I hope you guys never lose sight of that as well. But thank you all so much. I'm so grateful. I can't believe that I get to do this for a living. And again, I'm never gonna lose that. I'm not humble, all right? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm a humble guy, because I'm not humble. I am a little brash, I'm a little cocky, I'm a little overconfident, and I've always been like that. Even when I was down bad, I was overconfident in my abilities. But this is why, because I knew that this was in here, and you're a star too. Whether you figured it out yet, whether the world knows it yet, you are a star. It just takes some time. Believe in yourself, because it'll happen. And when no one else believes in you and everybody else puts you down, and even when you make it, people are going to hate and call you names and tell you didn't deserve it and you're just a bozo. And block that noise out. You're a star. You're an animal. You're a beast. All right? Believe in yourself, because it'll break for you. And I'm living proof that it can change. So with that in mind, little spiel there. I know that you guys don't come for my sermons. You come for Tennessee Titans talk, but I felt I owe you guys a massive thank you. So anyone listening, anyone watching, I'm forever grateful. Tighten the heck up. That's all I got to say about that. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.